Good evening, dear friends, fellows, Afghans, and other immigrants. Welcome to the 13th session of the Afghan Association of Ontario program on awareness of racism, discrimination, Islamophobia, and all kinds of hatred. This initiative of the Afghan Association of Ontario is partially funded, and it is in collaboration with the government of Ontario. In the program, we invite people with expertise or experience on the issue of what we refer to as the triangle of evil, which is racism, discrimination, and hatred. In this case, we look at hatred that is manifested in the form of Islamophobia. Today, our guest is Mahboob Gulestani, and Mahboob Gulestani is the founding member of the Canadian Afghan Sports Association. He's a community activist, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about himself. So, Mr. Gulestani, welcome to our program, and we really appreciate your time and your story, to share your story with us and with our audience.
Well, first of all, Assalamu alaikum to you and all the viewers of the AAO live on Facebook, and salam to all the viewers, all the Afghans, non-Afghans, all brothers and sisters of faith, or from every background. My name is Mahboob Gulestani. I am originally from Afghanistan, specifically I should say from Kabul. I was born in Kabul, so that did my father and my grandfather. But before that, my forefathers are from Ghazni province of Afghanistan. And we left Afghanistan when I was 9 years old. We moved to India, and I lived in India for about 9 years. And in India, I did the school, and before we came here, I was just in the first year of college before I came to Canada. Throughout that time, I also used to play, because since you live in India, of course, you play the sports of cricket. But my passion from the childhood was always football. So these are the two sports I love the most, right from the childhood. Football, which is soccer in Canada, and cricket is something that people in India play in every corner. So I'm a lot involved in the sports. So was my father. Back in the days, my father was, I should say, into weightlifting and some other sports. My father also was VP of the Afghan Treasury Department of Afghanistan Bank, the Afghanistan Bank.
Yeah.
The Treasury Department, he was the Vice President of the Treasury Department of the Afghanistan Bank. And my grandfather was one of the first employees of the Afghanistan Bank when that banking system came to Afghanistan. He was one of the first employees. His name is Qari John Muhammad Gulestani. So he was one of the first employees of the banking system.
Wow. So you have kept the tradition. You are also working in a bank.
Yeah. So my father is pretty happy with me out of all my siblings because I kind of followed his steps and the steps of his father. Of course, the banking system now is fully different than what it was in Afghanistan, but
yeah.
That's why I lived in India. From India, we came here in Canada since year 2000. So just past October 19th was my 22nd year living in Canada. So here I am, and of course, I have many background as far as the sports, working at the bank for 16 years and studying. So I think we'll discuss that step by step.
Yeah. We'll go into it. So when you first came to Canada, tell us and our viewers your story. Was there any cultural shock? Did you feel that you were in an alien society? Did people react to you in any way, which is the subject of our conversation here, in any racist way, or they discriminated, or anything like that? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so at the beginning, of course, I came to Canada in October of 2000. It's huge difference compared to now. Back in the days, of course, There's not too many immigrants. Of course, people keep coming, but the feeling was a little bit different. You can tell that people, of course, don't appreciate you to be here, but we have to be here just because we want to have a good life. We are here to make a life. We are here to study. I'm really honored and blessed, to be honest, to live in a country like Canada where, like there's opportunities to do whatever you want to do. So there should be no reason for anybody who is living in Canada that, okay, I cannot make it. Because when you make it to Canada, you made it, basically. The rest is up to you, what you want to become. It's totally up to you as a person. I'm also very honored that I lived in India for about 9 years, and everything I know from India, I have good stories. I don't have a single story where they say it's bad. So I'm really blessed. Like I feel like India and Canada are my second home after Afghanistan. Of course, I'm Afghan, so my heart is always there.
Yes, yeah.
But India and Canada are the two countries, to be honest, that kept us as refugees in a very respectful manner. Like you don't hear too many Afghans living in India and having a bad experience. Most of them who came here, they always had good experience from India, from the people, and of course in Canada, here we are. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that very, very interesting story. You work, when I look here, I have some guidelines here on the other screen, and I'm also monitoring the screen there in case somebody makes any comment. So I would like the viewers, if you have any comment, please write it down. If you have any questions from Mahboob Jan, then write it down. I will definitely bring it up. And also, please share this in your social media pages so that more and more people will hear the stories and the topic that we are covering. We are covering, obviously, the reported increase in the hate cases that Statistics Canada has shown related to racism and discrimination and hatred and Islamophobia. And coming back to the subject, Mahboob, I want to ask you, you work with Afghan community and you are the founding member of the Canadian Afghan Sports Association. And looking at it from this perspective, how big of an issue when you deal with these people, how big of an issue is this issue of racism, discrimination, and hatred?
Within so the thing is that I'm very much experienced in the sports. Okay, so like I'm involved so much in the sports since I would say 2006 that we started. Me and Dwayne John, we are the founding members of the Canadian Afghan Sports Association. So we started the association. One of the main reasons we started this is because of the issues like this, like where Afghans back in the days was like involved into like problems and gangs and like little things here and there. So for us to bring everybody together in a positive environment, the best way is the sports. So through sports, you can basically promote positivity around the world. So sports is one of the only person who will understand the most is when they're an athlete, right? So a lot of athletes will understand this the most, is that sports is one of the best way of promoting unity within all walks of life, every religion. So from that point of view, when we initially started this whole process of, organizing events, and of course I'm being involved with the community, it was at the beginning in the sports, I should say, it was a lot at the beginning. Like for example, in a team that there is a Muslim player, for example, you would not be treated as well. But nowadays, there's so much that our associations do. Canada Soccer does, Ontario Soccer does, on all these other sports associations. There's so much for discrimination. There's so much, they do extra work. I don't know if you, back in the days, for example, the Canada national team, you did not see too many multiculturalism. Now Canada is in the World Cup right now. The reason Canada is in the World Cup, I believe, is because of multiculturalism. Yeah, there is more people from different walks of life that have actually joined the Canada national team, and here we are. We are in the World Cup. So from the sports point of view, like I should say, I'm more positive rather than negative. it's just even, for example, myself and John, we started this whole association. We are also involved with non-Afghans. The Afghan is separate, and with non-Afghans, I'm also a referee. I'm a semi-professional referee. So is my colleague John, and we do semi-professional refereeing at a high level, university, college, League One Ontario, all these things. Before was a lot. Nowadays it has reduced, and there's the reason being is because there's a lot of Muslim players that has played in different teams and different areas. So I have more like a positive view for Muslims rather than negative. That's from my experience. It's just because I'm a lot into sports. I'm not into politics and stuff like that. So from the sports point of view, I believe that sport has helped us so much that it has actually reduced the Islamophobia rather than increased the Islamophobia. Maybe a study shows a little bit different, but when it comes to sport, I believe that it has become better day by day. The reason being is because Muslims have shown that they have the talent. Muslims have shown that they are good coaches, they're good players, they're good fans, and they're good parents, for example. Like sometimes you probably share some of the achievements of different Afghan players that have played in different teams. You know, they become the champion, this and that. That's not because they're Afghan. That's because they're good players, they're good families, and they actually have shown the other communities that, hey, Afghans are not all about what we see on TV. Afghans are actually about here, the talent. You know, we have different talents. We are sport, we are athletic. We can do many things. So and Islamophobic, when it comes to, I would say, sports, I don't see it that much. Because we are dealing with a very professional level, so I don't see it that much. So it is more positive.
What you are saying, it makes a lot of sense. So the statistics that Statistics Canada had issued refer to the whole society. And what it says is that the reported cases of hatred relative to 2020 and 2022 had a 68% increase. And then they had divided it, that there was a 72% increase of reported Islamophobic hate cases. There were 68% anti-Semitic and 64% against Catholics. And I thought that Catholics were the mainstream in Canada, but apparently the statistics say otherwise, which was very surprising for me. Now, that having said that, and I would like the viewers to pay attention to this, that there are certain institutions in Canada where there is a deliberate attempt is made to get rid of discrimination, to get rid of racism in those institutions. And what generally in sports, it has been very dominant, this activity to level the playing field. But even in some corporations, they now started this policy of DEI, what they call it, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So they have these policies in place, institutionally speaking, and from corporate policy perspective, there is no tolerance for this kind of evil behavior. Having said that, there might be individuals everywhere who most probably have that kind of attitude. And what we want to do is to make people aware of it, that those individuals, those small minorities that contaminate the environment become, bring toxicity into the situation, that we kind of filter them out.
Yes.
And that's a very good thing. So thank you for sharing your experience, and I would like to tell people, especially our youth, that, if you have experienced in a shopping mall, if you have experienced in different environments, this kind of activity, racist activities, as Mahboob says, when you go to sports teams, you don't experience it, and it is more positive environment, and you can become a better ambassador of your community in that respect. So in a way, I think, Mahboob, this is a good promotion for people to join sport activities. And
that's one of the main reasons I always mention that when you join a sports team or a sports organization, different teams, volleyball, basketball, soccer, every sport you talk about, there's many benefits to it. Okay, first of all, you don't have to become a champion. When you join a team, you don't necessarily have to be the world champion to join a sports team. Just by being out of problems, like for example, you go to school, 3-4 o'clock, you finish. When you sit at home, nowadays with the social media, that kind of changes people's mind as well, right? So whether if it's an Afghan, non-Afghan, anybody you are, you go to social media, I would say 80% of the time you see negativity in social media. I think this whole problem of Islamophobia is very much connected to the social media as well. Like since the social media has kept increasing, the Islamophobia also has increased, discrimination also has increased. So if we try to stay away from those rather than stay connected to the positive things, it all started with us, right? So we have the control. We have like for example, when I get involved in the sports communities, in the sports events, when I go there, all my friends, they know I'm Muslim, they know I'm Afghan, but they respect me as a person, how I deal with them. So through me, they see good things about Muslim. So I have to be a good leader, a good person to promote Islam in a good way, and I should promote Islam in the way I'm taught. For example, my father has taught me to respect every religion, every human equally, right? So it's not about you have to deal with only certain group of people. Like for example, I'll just give you an example. I'm a Shia minority, a Shia Muslim, a minority, right? Right now, for example, in certain area of Afghanistan, minorities are being under attack, right? So it is what it is, right? But the thing is that if we continue being positive, like I have friends from every walk of life, they respect me as a person. They respect my religion as well because they knew me what kind of person I am. I don't drink alcohol. I play sports. I'm always positive. They were like, oh, like if Mahboob is like this, so will be his religion. So what I'm saying is like, so it is up to us. It starts from home. Like it starts from my father. It starts from if my father is a person who's a racist, and my father is a person who has a problem with other people, so I will be, because I'm there every day at home. If my father is positive, I will be positive. I'll take the message back. So it's all start from home. So not for only Muslims, for non-Muslims as well. Like if there's the issue in the parents, their children will be racist. So it's kind of like a circulation. We have to look at the base. We have to solve the base. And I think a lot of people are doing a good job to hopefully.
This is a very good segue to what I wanted to mention was that, for our youth in the Afghan community, not just in the Afghan community, but in the Muslim community in Canada here, is, to look at Mahboob as a role model. And that role model is that you respect, if you expect to be respected by others, then you respect others in return, and that initiative is in your hand. Be the best ambassador of your community that you can be, and it will lower the incidences of discrimination and racism, etc. Now, you, as a person who you advise people on their estate planning and stuff like that in your day-to-day careers. Do people? I'm not sure if this is confidentiality issues are involved, but maybe generically you can say, are there people who bring these kind of complaints that there is this kind of discrimination against them in the community?
To be honest, our leaders are doing an outstanding job at the bank, right? So I work at TD Bank for the last 16 years. The reason I'm working there because I love the company, right? If I didn't love the company, I wouldn't probably leave it in a couple of years. Because I know I'm respected. I know my views are respected. I know my religion is being respected. And I know I have opportunity to move up. Like I have at the bank where I work at the department, in every department, there's people of every background. There's Muslims, there's Sikhs, there's Hindus, there's different. Our CEO is Mr. Bharat Masrani. He's of Indian background, right? So, I mean, what I'm saying is like our leaders have done such a great job of fighting for us, whether the leader is a Caucasian or whether they're Christian, whether they're Hindu or they're Muslim or whatever religion they are, they fought for us. Because I think earlier you mentioned about something about diversity and inclusion.
Yeah,
that has increased a lot. Like even, for example, LGBTQ community, right? People are like, we cannot, whoever has their choice, that's their choice of whatever they do. But every human being has rights of whatever they want to be, right? So I'm Muslim, I'm practicing my Muslim, for example, my faith. In our building at work, and downstairs we have a prayer room where we can go pray, right? And so I would say our leaders has done an outstanding job. Day by day, it's getting better and better. Initially, at the beginning, of course, when I started working 16 years ago, it's way different than now, right? Back in the days when I joined, maybe I was minority, right? Like nowadays, it became kind of common. Like, for example, like when I joined TD Bank 16 years ago, probably we had like 10, 15 Afghan employees. I'm just saying Afghan only, for example, right? Right now, I should say at least there's 300-400 Afghan employees in every department. There's managers, there's leaders, there's vice presidents. Like different departments has Afghan employees, and I'm just saying Afghan only, let alone many other religions, right? So I would say, again, even at work, I have positive things to say about my workplace. My wife, for example, works for Bank of Montreal. She has been working for the last 14 years or so. So she has very similar experience. Her leaders are taking care of them. They're promoting positivity. There's no, I would say, discrimination and Islamophobia at our workplace. And again, it depends on the companies, right? How your company is dealing with people. How multicultural is that company? Who needs that company? For example, the banking, the whole Canada needs it. So the banks has to be all these kind of things to have equality, to have
this DEI, what they refer to as the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's now even in other regulatory organizations, like we in the Architects Association. I'm a member of the Ontario Association of Architects. We were required to take courses, continuous education courses on DEI to make sure that we are aware of it.
Oh yes, we have every year we have courses as well. Every year we have mandatory classes where we actually it's an online class that we finish, and we with our managers we sit down in groups and we go through the whole thing. So it is, I would say again, something positive. And again, it's me who's making it positive, because it's employees like me or other employees who's bringing a good thing to them, and they respect us and they respect everybody else through me. Right? So
that's very good. As a community activist, you are in the sports community, and I'm sure that you have done a lot to get rid of this kind of, to make the field level field for this, so there is no discrimination, there is no racism, etc. But do you think community organizations, especially community organizations that represent immigrant communities, do they have some kind of should they do something, or what should they do in order to, this residual discrimination that exists in the society, not necessarily in institutions, but outside in general public, how to eliminate it? What can they do, in your opinion, so that more and more people become aware of it, and then they either adjust themselves, they like what you said, it depends on you how you want to confront it, how do you want to manifest yourself, so to minimize it, or also those people, the small minority, who, in my opinion, are ignorant in one way or another, that they exhibit those kind of behaviors, that they become aware of it.
Yes.
Do you think organizations have a place in that? What they can do?
Organizations can make huge difference as long as they're active, not by name, right? Like sometimes you can make an organization, for example, like the best organization you can make, and name it something. And the next thing you see, the organization just sits down and does nothing, right? So, Alhamdulillah, we have been very active. Myself and John have been very active, organizing different events, different sports, this and that. So we are. It's up to us how we want to manage it, and organizations are very important. Like right from the reason I'm involved in the organization is because back in the days when I actually went to school in Canada at the beginning, I did a few years. I went to school, I went to college, and this and that. Every time I joined a school, I also involved in the organizations. They all have multicultural organizations. They have different organizations, Afghan Organization, Muslim Association, Multicultural Association. All the students should be joining those. So if you have an idea that you want to open your own organization as well, Canada will always welcome it. You know, like an organization that kind of benefits the country, something that benefits the whole, progress of the country. You know, reduces racism, reduces discrimination, reduces Islamophobia and hatred. There's always ways that, from my experience, we started a sports organization. Many other people can start other organizations, by bringing unite every, and also be open-minded and also be educated. Though, if you want to open an organization, you have to be an example yourself, right? Like, for example, myself and John, we started an organization. We are also involved in sports constantly. Like I'm dealing with non-Afghans and sports, attending different sports events. Joining different seminars when it comes to sports. So I go learn. I bring that to the Afghan community. So that's what I do. So then through me, I hope someone else learns something and they take it to their friends and families. And so as you said, the organization is very important. It's very important to start an organization. It's very important to join organizations. Students should not waste their time. You become it all starts from home, right? So when people have free time, this is what happens. You start hatred. If you don't have time for those things, you have the whole time. If you're busy in the school, after the school you go to sports, or you do some other classes, you do swimming or whatever, you will have no time for these extra hatred because you're so busy in your life. This all comes from when you have nothing to do. So people have to make sure to have their children always busy in a positive activity, whether if it's sports, whether if it's book reading, whatever people like. Always be involved in extracurricular activities apart from the school. Then that's how you become leaders. That's how you promote positivity, and that's how you learn to become better human being.
Very good. Actually, it was very good discussion. You answered some of the questions I was going to ask, so I'm not going to ask them because you already described it in your presentation. I am very much appreciative of your time. Is there any, last message that you want to convey to our community, especially the youth?
I want the parents, first of all, to support your children, right? Have your children to be involved in the sports and go physically with them and support them. Like for example, I'll give you an example of this young child. The last name is Zafari. So his team became the champion of Ontario in under 16 soccer, for example. The reason he's there because his father was there, his mother was there. They went to support them. He got motivated and he became the champion. So this is how you build champions, because your family supports you. You don't send your children and you don't go yourself because, I don't have time. I have to watch TV or whatever. Always have extra time for your children. You have your full-time job, I understand, but in the evenings, always have a little bit of time for your children. Make sure your children are involved in extracurricular activities. If not sport, any other activities. Otherwise, your children will go the wrong way. Always know who your children are dealing with, what kind of friends they have. Because sometimes you know a good person from who their friends are. If your friends are good people, if your friends are positive, you'll be positive. If your friends are educated, you will be educated. If you have a friend who's a gangster or a friend who's a troublemaker, you'll be a troublemaker. So it all comes from us, and of course, children. The parents are supposed to support the children and make sure that Afghans. Please make sure you're always involved in your community, always involved in the sports. And always do extracurricular activities. And of course, more than anything, I want the parents to support them and continue supporting them. And of course, organizations like your organization, Afghan Association of Ontario, Canadian Afghan Sports Association, many other organizations are there to support you. Any questions you have, reach out to one of us. We will guide you. That's not a problem. Of course, at the end of the day, you'll be the driver. So we will guide you how to do it. The rest is up to them.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. I just wanted to to have this acknowledgement. This program, this initiative of the Afghan Association of Ontario, confronting racism, discrimination, and all kinds of hatred, Islamophobia in Ontario, is a program that is partially funded by the government of Canada. And that is just an acknowledgement. And what I wanted was for members of the Afghan community, if you like a program like this, and if you would like to share your stories with the rest of the community, please get in touch with me. We want to have one program every week. It's our plan to have one program every week where we bring people who can share their experience, positive or negative experiences. This is, we want to eliminate this triangle of evil from the society. And we are not the only people who are working, as Mahboob referred to. There are many organizations. The government of Canada is investing a lot of money to get rid of this kind of hatred and discrimination. And we should play our part also. And if you want to play your part, then get in touch with me and we will schedule. If you qualify for the criteria that we set for these programs, then we will set up a date and then you can come to Facebook Live and share your story with the community. Thank you very much. Until next time, I want to thank you, Mahboob, for your time. And let me take this offline and then we can continue our conversation.